Hello, and how are you doing? Thank you so much for blessing me with your attention and presence. I promise I will keep this short and worth your time. As always, allow me to start with that disclaimer. I am not doing this. I'm not sharing these videos and this information as a health professional. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I am, however, someone who has gone through addiction, harrowing addiction. I am someone who knows what it feels like to try and relapse. Somebody who knows what it means to be in a space of mind where you try to take your life 7 times. I'm somebody who, before rehab, was consuming 2 liters of vodka and a gram of cocaine every single day. And I am recording this just shy of 12 years sober. So I do know something about this. And over the last 12 years, I have been given the absolute grace to assemble information and tools that have helped me not just stay sober, but enhance my life and make it something that I'm able to look at and feel some sense of pride about. And it is on that basis that I'm going to be sharing these videos, including the one that I'm just about to begin. So allow me to jump right in. This is video number 4, and the title for this video is Forgiving Others. I know, I know. I started with the hard ones, I know. Um, Forgiving yourself is definitely a difficult one. And if you're watching this video and you have not consumed the 3 before, I beg you, please go start there. They are organized in sequence and there is value in doing them in that sequence. So, anyways, forgiving yourself is a difficult one. Forgiving others, I think, is an equally, if not more, challenging one. Um, Again, just to give this a bit of backdrop, we don't just wake up one day and we are addicts. We don't just wake up one day and we are alcoholics. We don't just wake up and we have dysfunctional behavior. Um, in fact, it is said that addiction is a sign. It's a telltale sign that there's something deeper going on um, in inside of the individual. I happen to be a very strong believer in that school of thought. Um, um, there is some level of pre-exposure, meaning if there is, say, addiction or alcoholism, there's a tendency for people within your family lineage to develop addiction, then yes, that's definitely one thing that brings you just a bit closer to this disease. But I think the one that contributes most greatly is just experiences that we've been through, nurture. We are a byproduct of the environments and the people who give us care to the best of their ability. Sometimes they didn't do a great job, and it exposed us to experiences that left us scarred and traumatized. And having trauma that has or has not yet been dealt with is nothing to be ashamed of. I'll be the first one to tell you that I have got massive trauma. I'm working on it every day a little bit more, but I have massive trauma, and a lot of it stemming from my childhood. I have got crazy abandonment issues. I've got things that cause me anxiety that I have done enough work to realize that that anxiety stems back from growing up in an environment where you are not quite sure what tomorrow may hold. The reason why I mentioned those is to demonstrate that there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of with regard to your trauma. The moment you recognize that you have trauma, the more you commit to the process of putting and shedding light on those traumas, then the quicker and faster you can begin to live a life where you're not being held back by the chains of that trauma. So, forgiving others. It is usually those closest to us that hurt us the most. And I was not an exception to that rule. I am not an exception to that rule. In many cases, the pain and resentment we hold towards others feels good and righteous, which makes it really difficult to let go. I know you know what I mean. There are certain people, based on things that they did to us or things that they did not do for us when our well-being and care was in their hands. Oof, that anger feels righteous. Yeah. I mean, even the thought of forgiving them feels like a betrayal to ourselves. I get that. I truly do. Um, the truth is, there's no path to mental and emotional healing absent of a complete and holistic approach towards forgiveness. Um, and the second one is part of three. This particular area, or the area of forgiveness and the area of making peace with the past. This is the second one. I will not preempt the third one. It will speak for itself. But we must commit to the process of going through this, of finding those people for whom we have anger and resentment and releasing it, right? Unless we wish to remain stuck, or worse still, continue going down the path of substance use and substance addiction and feeling unwhole and feeling the inability to experience joy and fulfillment. This is something we must do. We must forgive and let go of the anger we hold towards others. I have, or at least had, a lot of anger towards many people. I will not say I'm completely anger free. But I have, over the last 12 years, been dealing very deliberately with letting go and forgiving. And some of the people that that I had anger towards because they had hurt me or disappointed me or failed me at different stages in life were, number one, my dear beloved mother. Another was my father. And maybe just to expound on that one a little bit, I am currently 39. My father passed away when he was 34. I have gotten to be older than he ever was. I held such anger towards my father because of choices he made and things that he did while he was alive. And I was even cross with a guy for daring to die and leaving me without a father. How dare he, you know? By allowing myself to really dig into these people, and I haven't even finished the list. My girlfriend and back then, who is now the mother of my children, my sister, my grandpa. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's my willingness to look into these relationships and to inspect why I feel so let down by them, so hurt by them, so disappointed by them, that I was able to identify things that they could have done, should have done, and maybe didn't, that left me traumatized. It's the process of allowing yourself to, again, look into that darkness that gives you the answers. And so, without a doubt, you too have people who have let you down. The space in your life, in your heart, in your mind, in your system, where that pain and anger resides is the very same space where peace of mind and clarity and joy and fulfillment should reside. When you begin the process of identifying those who you've held anger towards or resentment towards for a long time and beginning to deal with that hurt, that anger, what you're in essence doing is creating space for fulfillment, creating space for joy, creating space for the ability to feel, to experience, and to give love. Like I said, I am nowhere near done with this process, but I promise you, the more I work on it, the more I find myself feeling lighter, feeling like maybe this thing called life can be beautiful. The process I'd recommend here is very similar to the one that we did for self-forgiveness, meaning journaling or recording voice notes, but it does have one distinct difference. If the people who have hurt you the most are people who are close to you, possibly even related to you, say a mother, a father, and if those same people are people who are supportive of your recovery process and they want you to get better, once you identify the manner in which this person, these people have hurt you, and you've journaled about it and you've sent a voice note to yourself about it, and you've gained some clarity and perspective on why you feel the way you do about them, you can have respectful conversations with these people. And I must here give a small caveat. Not everyone can be hard. Let me take that again. Not everyone is ready or capable of having these conversations with. They say that hurt people hurt others. It is possible that the people or the person who has hurt you the most only hurt you because they too are traumatized by somebody else, and that chain tends to go on and on. So unless the person who hurt you is somebody who has been relentless in the process of finding healing for themselves, then you cannot have a conversation with that person. But if you're blessed enough to have somebody who hurt you in the past or disappointed you or let you down, like say a parent or a sibling, and you can tell that they're deliberate about becoming whole, you can engage them in a respectful conversation where you tell them, hey, listen, you're my whatever it is, and you know, I'm grateful for you. I was wondering, could we possibly have a conversation that is most likely going to be uncomfortable, but it would be a very respectful one that may go a very, very long way towards helping with my recovery process. I'm saying this from experience. One of the longest and most difficult conversations I've ever had with a human being was with my mom. This was a few years back. My mom lives in a different country, and for the first time, we sat down and spoke through the night. I was able to very respectfully have this conversation with her where I was able to verbalize how I felt about my childhood and my abandonment issues. The most remarkable thing happened. Number one, mom was able to listen to me actively, and it wasn't easy for her to hear those things. And the reason for that is because she too shared her side of the story with me. And as it turns out, the very things that had traumatized me so bad as a child were things that were outside of her control. She was able to share with me information that demonstrated how much she tried to avoid and avert the very things that ended up being traumatic to me. And in the process, deeply traumatized herself. I'm trying not to get emotional as I share this. As a result of that very candid conversation with mom, we have an amazing relationship today. A relationship that has mutual respect, a relationship that has got a lot of love in it, a relationship that has got mutual support. My mom is my biggest supporter. We are better off today. We have a more authentic relationship today as a result of that conversation. And it wasn't a single one. There was that one major one. And then over the years, we've had them in smaller forms, shorter conversations that have helped us both deal with our heart and our traumas. So if you happen to have such a person who is able to hear your truth because they too are in the process of healing their own trauma and they are able to recognize how they may have failed you, that there's a lot of value in that. But unless it's exactly as I've described it, and if there's a chance that the person who has hurt you is somebody who you'd approach in a conversation such as that, and you know that the result of it would be less than positive, do not do it. Yeah. Go into your journal, express every single thing you wish you could say to them. Again, it's important that you maintain respectfulness, even in their absence. Being respectful means you're not expressing anger, you're expressing truth. If you can't be respectful, it means that your anger will just boil over, then the whole thing becomes non-productive. If you observe respectfulness, even if it's say your sibling, Ayanga or even, yeah, if you can express on paper, in their absence, on your journal, everything they've done to you that you wish you could say to them and do it respectfully, then what's really going to happen is your anger is going to step aside and it's going to allow for your truth to just come out. And you will find that the very process of journaling that is going to clear the venom inside. Do that process for every single person who has hurt you, let you down, disappointed you, and it will shock you how you feel at the end of that process. You deserve to feel fulfillment. You deserve to release that venom and replace it with joy, replace it with hope and faith, replace it with dreams and ambition. But the only way you're going to create that space within yourself is by being willing to go through that process. I have a feeling this video is long. But like I said in the beginning, I'll try and keep them as compact as possible while not compromising the value of what needs to be shared with you. And with that, I'll conclude it. Going through this process honestly, in essence, means that you are choosing to evolve. You are deciding that those things that were done to you no longer hold you from who you're here to become. And I do not wish to minimize what you may have gone through. I know that we all have our stories, and I know that some of our stories are tragic and just bloody heartbreaking. I do not wish to minimize what you may have gone through. What I'm choosing to do here is focus on letting you know how you can begin to heal from that very traumatic experience. Also, if it feels like part of the stuff that you need to let go is too deep and too ingrained to let go of without help, please let me know. Hit me up on the comment section and I will point you in the direction of someone and people who can help you peel back those layers and release that pain from your life. Yeah. Also, this is officially video 4. If you've been watching them from the beginning and you're finding some value in all this, I'd really appreciate some feedback. I'm doing this, I'm recording this in an empty room where I'm focusing on the energy of you consuming this video. So hearing from you would be such a rare gift. Allow me to conclude this one here so I may jump into the next one. Allow me to say this as I close. Keep going. Keep believing in the beauty of the life that you're here to have. Keep believing that you're worthy of so much more than the chapter you're in right now. You can choose to make the gift of sobriety a permanent one in your life. It's going to cause you hard work. It's going to need for you to work at it. But I promise you, it's worth it and it's beautiful. And I have 12 years that tells me just that. Okay, then. See you on the next one.